Attention! The National Weather Service has issued a hurricane warning for the entirety of the National Hockey League. Please stay tuned for further information from the Storm Cellar.
Welcome back to the Storm Cellar. Game 4 is today, 3:30 start time, Ray. Good news or bad news for me, I'm going to miss the first half, just like I did in games 1 and 2, which were big Canes wins. I saw all of game 3, which was a loss. So I'm feeling pretty good about this one, man. How are you feeling?
You know what? You know how big I am on superstition. It verges on stupid stition, and I don't want to have to put another loss on you. So, if you're missing the first little bit, don't worry. I'll fill you in. And that way, you're doing your part. I'll do my part. And let's hope the boys do their part, because game 3 was not us at our best. And even Rod agrees with us. So we do know a little bit about what
they do have the bigger part to play in all this, to be fair.
They do. But we can get back to something that we love doing. The last 3 podcasts we've had have all been game breakdowns, which I really enjoy doing. With
Same.
you.
That's not normally our MO.
Yeah, it's not our MO. Our MO is focusing on the fans and the Caniacs that are out there from all over the world. They are the fuel to the fire of every hockey, and I mean not just Carolina, but for every hockey team. It's the fans that bring the fire. They pipe them up, and we have a brand new fan, and I gotta tell you, I don't blame her. I'm impressed for her coming over, because it happened in what the experts have called is the biggest trade of the year. That was the craziest trade of the year. One that our guest doesn't necessarily like, because she's a Dallas fan first, which is fine by us, but she's followed Stankoven over and has enjoyed the team. And so we want to bring her into the mix. And Tracy, thank you so much for taking some time. Pull up a chair here in the Storm Cellar.
Right.
And thanks for joining us. This is playoffs are always amazing. And Dallas has proven that in the past. And we always start the show with you. We're going to shine the spotlight on you and get your whole story, how you got into hockey. What did you enjoy most about it? Favorite players in Dallas. Then if we have to, we'll go through the trade, which I know is a sore spot for you. But you come out on the other side enjoying the Canes. So let's go through that, Tracy. The floor is yours. Tell us all about your story.
All right. Well, I was living in Dallas at the time. No hockey team really to speak of. Wasn't that much into hockey. We're football. I mean, it's Texas, Dallas Cowboys, right? That's what it is. Well, I get married to this Yankee from New York, Connecticut, who comes down, and he likes hockey. He's a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, actually. It's like, okay. All right. So, watch some hockey. It's okay. It's all right. And then lo and behold, the Dallas Stars. Now I have a Dallas team. Now I have a reason to love hockey. I start getting into it. I start learning about it. I start watching it. We start going to the games. And I'm both on football and in hockey. I'm a defense girl. I love a strong defense. I love watching the defense. Yeah, the offense is exciting. You got to have offense. You got to win. I love the defensive game. And Eddie Belfour.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Right there.
Eagle.
Eddie Belfour, that goalie. Whew.
Former Hurricane.
Watching him, watching Darian Hatcher deal out some justice, watching Matt Fichak, watching those guys, absolutely hooked. Follow the Dallas Stars, would follow the Dallas Stars just about anywhere. Right now, Jamie Benn, follow him anywhere, follow that man into hell.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like the Penguins, love the Stars, and I noticed the Stars and the Canes fans have had kind of a very friendly relationship in the last few years. Have y'all noticed that?
Yeah.
It's the rivalry
Laurel Wheeler,
that we
who
have.
set the tone for our show, is from Texas. Big Dallas Stars turned Hurricanes fan, who's now followed Teuvo Teravainen to Chicago, to be fair. But Linnea, our friend from Finland, huge Finns fan. So we like
It's not the same
people.
I mean, it's not the same sort of trash talking you get between, say, us and the Avs fans or the Wild. It's really very friendly. It's been friendly. And so I'm kind of interested in the Canes. I've watched the Canes several times. But when the Canes took Stank, I had to follow.
And we certainly appreciate you joining us, everyone. Now some might crack on you for being a bandwagon jumper. I mean, you've got so much hockey knowledge, and everyone gets on the wagon at some point. But I've heard you talk before the show. You're Caniac already. And Brad, I know Brad's got something.
Well, just real quick. She's talking about watching Eddie the Eagle.
Oh,
Belfort played for Dallas in like 2000, maybe 2001, something
99, 2000.
So that's a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like she's been watching hockey. She may be new to the Hurricanes, but this is not a new fan to the sport. Like that is 25 years of watching hockey. That's not a bandwagon fan.
And it takes a lot. It takes a lot to win my heart. And the Canes, I watched them and I thought, my God, this is my style of hockey. I love these guys. This is amazing. Why have I not watched them more before?
You know what? The reason I can give you the reason for that is that they're mostly ignored by national, that it's not a big enough market, not bright enough lights and so forth. And I mean, I think the Stadium Series game against Washington opened a few eyes when you put 70,000 people in a football field watching the Canes and all of the tailgating that was done. It was like, okay. And of course, Rod Brindamore helps as well, who was playing back in your day as well. I mean,
that was crazy, because if you would have told me Rod Brindamore would have been a coach, I just would not have believed it. I mean, he's a great guy. No, nothing against him, but in Dallas, our coaches tend to be very silent, very together, very Tom Landry, very Hitchcock. They stand there. They're not full of emotion, screaming and yelling. And I just wouldn't have thought Brindamore would be a coach, but there he is. And it's impressive. And he is definitely a different kind of coach than I'm used to looking at.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
The passion is not hidden.
So
Tom's had to write a few checks on his behalf.
Yeah. We volunteered to pitch in, like do a GoFundMe or whatever. Like, go ahead, Rod, let them have it. The Caniacs have your back. We'll pay for this one, because my goodness.
Right.
So are you ready to revisit difficult times?
Let's revisit difficult times. Okay. I'm ready.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that happened, and it was shocking. And we had all waited so long for Stank to come up. We watched him down below in the minors. We were watching him come up. We were watching all his reels. It's like, he's going to become a star. He's going to be a star. He's almost here. He's here. Boom. We were so thrilled to have him on the team. So happy. He plays hard. He plays the whole game. He plays all the ice. He is right there on it. He's the kind of player I love to watch. He's dedicated. Yeah, he's everything we really wanted on the team. And then he's gone.
Yeah.
Rookie, gone. He had such a bright future with us.
You know what's
and
really
he's gone.
You know what's really funny? Is there was a humongous group of people, Hurricane fans, who are like, that's it? Stankoven and a couple of picks.
Wyatt Johnston or bust.
Oh, yeah. Wyatt Johnston, yeah, he's good too. Oh yeah,
like he's great, but
the gritty,
and Eric Tulsky did the post trade, discussion. And there's a whole mess that we really don't want to get back into and stuff.
Oh.
But his first words about Stankoven, he was born to be a hurricane, born to be.
That man's a genius.
Yeah, well, he is the smartest man in pretty much every room that he walks into. It's unbelievable when we I live in Calgary, so you see a few more West games, and I saw his rookie year in a couple of times, and I'm like, the kid is something else. Like he's small, but he plays about a foot taller than he is, and he's everywhere. And that's one of the things that
everywhere.
Rod has instilled in everyone. What Brad and we're kind of cut from the same cloth, aside from looking like each other. We love like the guys that come to work, lunch pail players and stuff. You don't have to be elite. You just have to give us everything you got.
Right.
And on the very first shift, Stankoven showed us, he'll play this game.
Oh yeah, and you got to give him the credit too. I mean, he was in a bad position. They did him dirty. I'm sorry, they did. But jerked out of the Stars, thrown onto a new team, and he immediately gives you everything he's got on that new team.
Isn't that that's what you want out of
That's
everyone?
what you want. That's what you want.
We certainly found out with Mikko. That's not what you get.
No, it is not.
And I know you're still, of course, you're still a Stars fan. And we're not holding that against you.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the player's fault. It's not the coach's fault.
Exactly. But Rantanen's comparison. I mean, first of all, Stankoven's already outscoring him.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, and he plays on a line not with the superstars of the team. He plays on the grinder line, the line that shuts teams down. And he has been sensational. Rantanen, on the other hand, it's time.
I'll tell you.
I mean, we don't.
I didn't know that much about him. I knew he was the McKinnon merchant. Knew that. Started listening to Canes fans would come over and say, hey, this is what happened over here with this guy. And I was like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Sounds like somebody who just either couldn't play up to the standard or didn't want to, which is maybe it's a little both. I don't know. Started watching some of that, started listening to more of the Canes fans, and I just knew we were in so much trouble. What we needed was more defense on the team. We needed somebody who could fill in, especially while Miro's gone. We didn't need to pay $12 million for somebody who is going to be mid-level at best and play with half a heart. And that's what I've seen. And you can be mad at me for saying it if you want.
No, but Brad and I are...
Oh, not you, but anyone who's listening. I'm sorry. I've got 4 playoff games. Yeah, this is a seasoned professional too. This is not a rookie. And I've got 4 important playoff games. His contribution has been 1 secondary assist.
Yeah.
Does he look interested at least? I haven't had a chance.
A little more than he did at first. A little more than he did at first. But mostly what I see is him kind of skating around to the side, behind the play. He can't keep up with the better skaters. He doesn't play defense at all. Oh my gosh, he's terrible. He is not going to. Yeah, he's not a $12 million player. He's not. He's not bringing to the team what we need.
As someone who defended him pretty much the whole time he was here, I said, and I even said this before show, you really want a guy to have an off-season training camp, the whole thing, before you start judging how he fits in, because otherwise, I mean, they're professionals, but you're being thrown in the mix. He's played one style of hockey with one line mate for his whole career, all those things, right? When he was here, I'm like, look, like he's like, his whole life's been flipped upside down. Of course he's not playing well.
Kind of like Stankoven.
And then the trade, right? And then he gets flipped to Dallas. And then you hear the comments and you're like, oh, like I'm upset as much because I was defending the guy and he clearly had no interest in being here.
And that right there is a huge mark against him to me. I don't care how good you are. If that's what you're going to act like, I don't want you on my team.
And to your point, Stankoven is coming in like, I'm going to play my best hockey.
Yeah.
I will say, I think some of Stankoven's success here has been thanks to Mark Jankowski. So, we got Jankowski for a 5th round pick. It was, people were like, oh, this is the also ran trade of the deadline. But Janky comes in and gets 4 goals on his first 4 shots. And everybody, no offense to Stankoven, they kind of forget about Stankoven, which I think is good because like right now he can breathe. He has a little room.
Yeah.
Like, the focus isn't on Stankoven for Rantanen, even with the picks and everything. And now he gets a little chance to just kind of blend into the mix and disappear. And especially for a rookie, I think that's important because he was able to take that and had a really successful run and so forth at Canes. I mean, he's tied for 2nd on the team in the postseason with, 2 goals, 2 points.
Yeah.
So he's actually tied for your goals and then those 2 points, and he's even. Like, he hasn't, he's been on the ice. He's plus minus is even. What else can you ask of him?
You can't, yeah.
For the people who wanted Wyatt Johnston, I get it. Like, the dude is phenomenal.
No, he's good, yeah.
But as a Stars fan, and maybe this will be hard to do, if you were the GM and you got to choose, Carolina, it sounds like Eric was like, we want Stankoven. Now, is that because he knew Johnston wasn't available, or was that just really the choice? But if you're the GM and you are giving up one or the other, do you have a preference of who you would have given up? Like, would you have sent Stankoven? Because Johnston's offense has been phenomenal. Yeah. But Stankoven, like I said, he's a rookie. Like, he's got a potentially outstanding career ahead of him, as is Johnston. But
if I'm looking at who's going to fit in with the Canes, I'm taking Stankoven for sure. I mean,
that's
but I don't want you to take my Stankoven, but you did.
And
you'd rather we take Rantanen back, right?
Oh, please. Yeah. I would pay just pay the team who takes him the $12 million. Say, here he is. Here's your $12 million. Thank you. I'm done.
There you go.
I'm done.
Oh my goodness.
And all these people that keep saying, oh, Rantanen's going to save us. He's going to save us. He's going to make all the goals. Well, I don't think so.
We're seeing it. We're seeing it. And so Stankoven kind of brings you over to get a look at the Hurricanes. And you're seeing more.
Oh, yeah.
What's your take on what you see? I mean, we've been watching the team for a long, long time, but we like to see what other people who are new to the team, we like to see the Hurricanes through their eyes.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think back to the first couple of games I watched here. But the Stank and Jank thing was great. I mean, I was screaming Stank and Jank as these two guys were shining. I thought it was great. I thought it was fabulous. I'm looking at this character who is not only a really good player, but just such a card named Jarvis, thinking, oh my gosh, where have you been my entire life, Jarvis?
Yeah.
Did not know.
Gem.
I knew nothing. I did know of Aho, of course, because I know when you play the Canes, you're like, oh gosh, Aho's going to kill us. Love Aho. So I'm familiar with him. One person I'm not familiar with, and I'm totally confused when I hear them yell, Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson? What is Mr. Anderson? What are we talking about here? It's the goalie, obviously. Why are we calling him Mr. Anderson? So, of course, I Google that. Okay, all right. And within 2 or 3 minutes, I'm sitting there yelling, Mr. Anderson, as he's making these saves and just doing what he does. So, yeah, the goalie, huge plus immediately. What I noticed about,
Well, I was just going to say, have you seen Piotr the Great?
The other one, yeah, I have. Pretty good. And not Mr. Anderson, though. Sorry.
There you go. Okay.
Not Mr. Anderson. I am so impressed with Mr. Anderson, and I'm just yelling at him, Mr. Anderson, like I've been sitting there, for the last few years watching him or something.
Yeah.
I just love that man. So anyway, I'm watching the team as a whole, and the first thing I notice about them is that these guys are on that puck. They are not sitting around waiting for the power play to score on them. They're attacking. They're trying to take it away. They're going down the other way with it. Nobody lets anybody get too comfortable. You're not going to get, a few minutes to set your shot up because they're going to come after you. And that's great. make that other team as nervous as possible about taking time to set up a shot. Stop that power play momentum immediately, jump on that puck. And I love that. That was what I noticed about the team. I was just, standing up and screaming because they were playing the way I wanted them to play.
And you know what's funny? Brad and I have said it very great many times, especially this season. We've wanted, instead of giving us the power play, just send one of our guys to the box during those 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And we'll take them off, because guys like Aho and Jarvis, who are amazing together, shorthanded.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But also guys like Stahl and and we're seeing a lot of guys who are contributing. Robinson. I mean, just it's constant pressure, and as great as that is, it's also, it either pays off or it puts you in trouble, and that's when you really need the goaltender.
That's when you need Mr. Anderson out there. Yeah. But it's exciting. It's the way I like to watch it. I don't want to just sit around and wait for these people to come down and score on me. I'm going to take that puck away, and I'm going to go down shorthanded. I'm going to take that chance. It either pays off big or it doesn't. We'll see. But that's what I want.
Yeah. Right. I think for Carolina fans, a lot of people are screaming for Piotr to get a game in net here, and he should.
Okay, sure.
But Frederik Andersen, just to put it in some context for folks, other than Akira Schmid, who came in against 9 shots. Okay, we're throwing him out because 9 shots does not a game make.
Right.
Best goals against in the playoffs this year, Frederik Andersen, 1.48.
Amazing.
Best save percentage in the playoffs this year?
Yep.
Frederik Andersen, 9.43.
Yeah.
Close on his heels is Jacob Markstrom, 208 and a 929. He's fifth he's not counting Schmid, he's 4th in goals against, and he's 3rd, I think, in save percentage. So the fear for Freddie is, in the past, he wears out. He's injury prone. So that's the knock, right?
That's what I've heard, yeah.
And people are worried about that. Like, we don't wear out Anderson, he's going to get hurt. However, he was out most of the year. He's only played 22 games and 3 playoff games. So I'm not too worried about him getting hurt right now, because his body should be pretty fresh. They've had a couple of days off. I do think you want to get Piotr in, who is a fun, dynamic character. The whole Chekhov thing is fun. When he's on, he is really fun to watch.
Okay.
He's also good for one bad goal a game.
Oh yeah.
Generally from 30 feet out on a nothing play, and he just, I don't know if it's a vision thing or something, he just misses it.
Yeah.
Which all goaltenders have their thing, right? Frederik Andersen, last game I said it wasn't on his, the loss wasn't on him, but was one of those goals soft? Yeah, it was. So
happens.
Freddie Andersen likely in net today.
Oh,
I don't have a problem with it. I do think you do have to get Piotr back in, but if you can go up 3-1 in the series, it takes the pressure off, right? Then Piotr comes in with a long break. He doesn't have to, if he doesn't win, it's not like you're going down in the series. It's not like the series is tied at 3 or anything. So,
absolutely.
And Freddie's one of those guys. His reputation got tarnished, I really think, in the COVID season in Toronto. Yeah. When they didn't win the cup. And a lot of that fell to, Freddie wasn't good enough. Freddie actually played pretty well. Your team didn't score enough goals. Like, that's part of Carolina's problem when people point to the goaltenders. But Andersen is going to go down in history. Like, once it's been a couple of years, you're able to look back, people can be objective, as one of the better NHL goalies of all time, I think. I really believe that.
It's so weird to me that he's that good, and I had no idea who he was.
And he's
compared to all these others.
Man. I mean, his hair game is, as somebody with very little hair, like, his hair game is on point. I mean,
it's so at this point, we're going to do something a little bit different. And it's something that you had mentioned when we were setting this all up, is you had an idea about finding out what you could about the Canes. And that if you have questions, maybe you could throw them out there. And you worried about I don't know if that'll be interesting or not. I think when you come to the Statler and Waldorf of the Hurricanes, podcasts, um, we've got a little information that we're happy to help you out with, and love to fill you in certain things, and we can flip back and forth. So I guess as a new fan, first of all, you've already explained a lot. You know more than enough about this team right now, to prove that, yeah, you get the game. So, I mean, that's fine. But what are the questions that you have about the team? And Brad and I can field them.
Okay. I mean, like I said, there's some players. I'm watching them. I'm like, how have I not known who these people are before? It's crazy to me. How do I know who Aho is, but I don't know who Jarvis is? He just kind of popped out of nowhere. I know nothing about this person. Has he always been with the Canes? Is he, what kind of a player is he considered to be? Is he a team leader? What can you tell me about Jarvis?
To be fair,
what do I need to
feel
know?
bad, because until the Four Nations tournament, apparently the hockey experts had never heard of Jacob Slavin. So you're in good company.
I hadn't either, and I love him.
Yeah,
he's only the best, probably defenseman in the league.
He and
all these experts are like,
yeah,
oh my God, Jacob Slavin's really good.
Yeah.
If you ever bothered to watch a Hurricanes game, you'd have seen that. But,
exactly.
So don't feel bad.
Okay, yeah. I mean, Slavin's definitely on my list here. Oh my gosh, yeah. Go on.
Seth Jarvis.
Jarvis.
The good news, alluding to something you said earlier, is the next season of Amazon's Inside the NHL, Seth Jarvis is going to be featured. So you're going to get a lot of backstage.
It's going to be a lot
Jarvis.
of fun.
I'm making note of that. Okay.
We're Ted Lasso fans on the show. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Ted Lasso. Absolutely. Yes.
He is Danny Rojas.
Yes, he is.
He is
my favorite. That is my favorite character retriever on that show.
When asked in an interview, what's your favorite thing to do? He's like, I like to nap.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh.
Seth Jarvis came up out of juniors. They were like, he's too good. Like we can't let him go. Like we have to sign him. We have to burn a year of his ELC. He has to stay.
Right.
Since then, he's turned from an offensive minded, very skilled forward into what may turn into the best two-way forward in the league at some point.
Yeah. He's everywhere. Yeah.
He's personable. He's super chill. He has energy for days. He sticks up for his teammates, although he's not the biggest guy in the world. Seth Jarvis, to me, is if you're looking for a young guy to build a team around, Seth Jarvis, I think, is your prototypical, core player. He's going to be one of the two or three guys you're like, that's who we want to build our future around. That's Jarvis to me in a nutshell. What do you think, Ray?
Yeah, I did get a chance to see a little bit of him in junior. And he had so much skill. And I think that going to a team like the Hurricanes with Rod Brindamore there, Rod recognized right off that he was playing his way onto the team. It was funny. A lot of people didn't expect it. And he forced them. Like he just said, I'm here and you're going to keep me on the team. And they found him and found a spot for him. They didn't put him straight on the fourth line and just say, ease him into it. It's like throwing the baby into the pool and letting it swim. You know what I mean? Like just, he got in there and his energy, first of all, he's a rink rat. If he's not napping, he's in the rink doing the things that he does to play and get better. Let me give you an example. Last season, very early on, I don't want to say busted up his shoulder, but his shoulder was messed up pretty bad. He played through the entire season into the playoffs and played magnificently, had scored the most points to that point in his career. And just to give you an example, he had an opportunity on one end in close to score a goal, and the puck goes back the other way. I can't remember, Brad, who it was against, but you'll recall this. They are flying down the ice towards our end, and suddenly this streak of black comes flying through, and it lays out onto the ice, like total dives down to block a pass that would have led to a guaranteed goal. And he smashed into the boards so hard. Like we thought, oh my God, like that's it.
No.
Like he's done.
We thought that's when he hurt his
gosh.
shoulder. We didn't know
Yeah.
about the shoulder.
Yeah, we didn't even
okay.
know he did it on that. He already had the bum shoulder, but he still had the heart to hustle back. That's
That's what, yeah.
that's what it's what you want.
That's where
it's
it
what
is.
you love. He is so
Amazing.
He hurt his shoulder in like the first 2 weeks of the season, I think, Ray.
Yeah.
He went on to score 33 goals, 24 assists for 67 points, second on the team with a busted shoulder the whole year. And then this year ties the team historic record with Kevin Adams, throwing that out there.
There you go, of course.
5 shorthanded goals. I mean,
yeah,
and
it's amazing.
And one of the things that I love that you mentioned right off, that, two-way player, first of all, okay, no one recognized him. As a Canadian, I was super excited to have Seth named to the Four Nations team, and every other Canadian around me was basically saying he didn't deserve to be there.
Oh,
and it was infuriating because they don't watch and they don't get a chance to see. And once he's out there, all of a sudden man, this kid can play very much the way it was for Slavin.
Do you see any Stankoven in him? Do you see some sort of similarities there?
There are similarities. First of all, in size. Because,
yeah, you guys have the short kings cornered there.
Yeah, no question.
I got a few of those.
But Jarvis is all heart and a mile wide. Like he's a heart. He loves to play. There isn't any situation he won't get into that, if it's good for the team, that's what he's about. And he puts himself out there. He blocks shots. We saw that in overtime.
He's fearless. He's absolutely fearless out there.
He absolutely is.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Now, we haven't had a chance to see Stankoven enough. But we love that he is a 200-foot game player. And that's why Seth works so well with Aho. Sebastian Aho, I call as much. I love him to death. I call him Ron Francis 2.0. He plays the full 200-foot game. And that is why Seth fits in so well with them. That he has to be on his wing because they both play that well.
Yeah, they have a real rapport. They really do. Yeah.
They can shut down and score, and them on a penalty kill is just gold. Seth Jarvis is going to be fun. That Amazon thing, you'll spend more time rolling on the floor laughing. I guarantee.
I agree. I've seen just a little bit from him in interviews and such, and he is an absolute. He just keeps me in stitches. He's amazing. Yeah.
And one thing about Seth, and this applies to Aho too, a lot of times when you talk about a 200-foot player, you're talking about a very responsible defensive player who sometimes contributes offense, and that's not Aho or Jarvis. They are the Hurricanes' number 1 and number 2 point getters on top of playing on the penalty kill, on top of being the best 5-on-5, on top of 5, shorthanded goals. Both of them having 7 shorthanded points on the season. So when we say they're complete 200-foot players, they really are, right? It's not just that they can play defense in addition to offense. They excel in both roles. And I think with Stankoven, I always like to say, like he is like a little fiery engine. I mean, he's just always like the legs don't stop moving, like he does all the right things.
Yeah.
And under Rod, if he becomes another Seth Jarvis clone, kind of, if he can play that way, and he can, I mean, I mean, I think the ceiling, the ceiling is going to be, really high for him. So
yeah. And I can't tell you how impressed I am with Rob Brindamore as being a coach. He's got an eye for talent, and he seems to see things that I would not have expected. He's surprised me. I mean, I know maybe you're so used to him, it's not a surprise. I just know what I knew from seeing him play, and I know he's kind of hot-headed, and I would have never thought this is a guy who could really, lead a team. But I stand corrected.
Well, and Brad and I, first of all, he coaches the way he played, and that was. You give me everything you got. Everyone's going to have a bad game, but if you put in 100%, that's all he wants. That's what he expects. He is called Rod the Bod. And first of all, he does the workouts that all the players do, and maybe even harder. Like he could challenge any one of them in any aspect of the workouts and the training and all the rest of it. There's been times Brad and I have wished he could lace them up, on the movie Slapshot, player coach, right? Like get out there and go, because man, oh man, he's just incredible. He is fiery, but there's another side to him, and Brad and I have talked about it. He's got a little bit of a nickname for what he does with the lines. Brad?
Okay.
The old Rob Blendamore? Yeah.
Rod Blendamore.
Okay.
All season long. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I was just thinking, in 06, on my truck, I used window paint and wrote "In Rod We Trust."
Okay.
Through a Hurricanes flag. Today, I still have that feeling, as I think a lot of Hurricanes fans do, because when he got hired as the head coach, none of us knew what to expect. And he came out of the gate, and this is the first year that they haven't scored 100 points in a regular season. So we're all on board. That being said, some people, I don't know if it's through his legacy or just the coaching. I mean, he definitely knows his stuff, right? It's
right.
But he has blind spots, and not everyone is willing to acknowledge that. And he's young. This is his 6 years as head coach.
Sixth year. Okay. All right.
So he's still a young coach. He still has a lot to learn, and he is learning. He is adapting. We're seeing Nate just got more freedom at the start of this year to do his thing, right? We're starting to see Rod understand that his system has to have some leniency, that you can't win every game 1-0. And I think that would be Rod's preference if it could.
Right.
So I think Rod is one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the league. I don't think he's perfect. I think it's fair to give honest feedback when he's doing things that don't seem to make sense. But by the same token, has Eric Tulsky, have Tom Dundon earned some leeway? Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel
Amazing.
about Rod. Rod's not perfect, but is he amongst the best NHL coaches out there? Absolutely. I don't think there's any question. And anytime something happens that people are like, oh my God, get rid of the head coach.
Oh yeah.
If you want to kill the team, that's probably the right thing to do, because not that somebody else can't come in and take over, but Rod is a North Carolina institution at this point.
Okay. Yeah. Team trust and camaraderie, and it's a team. And again, the whole thing with Rantanen, going to go back to that. You destroy that team's chemistry, you dishearten them, and look what happens. You have an 8-game losing streak afterwards.
Yeah.
And I do kind of blame that trade on that. That jolted that whole team.
Yeah.
If you get rid of the head coach, you're going to get the same. If you have a head coach that the players love and trust, you get rid of them, same thing's going to happen.
And that's, a lot of people, it's kind of, a lot of people maybe say that this particular word is thrown around too much, but he's created a culture.
Mm-hmm.
There is a culture of hard work there. You know what you're expected to do, and the culture is great. Every one of those players, including Stankoven at this point, who's already shown, they will run through walls for each other, for Rod,
absolutely,
for the fans. Like they will do what is needed. And Rod,
I love it.
Always, and when we say Blendamore, a lot of that happens during the season. And there's been times where Fishy and Seth have been separated, where Seth was actually put on the third line.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of times I kind of just shook my head. I'm like, what are you doing? And I think he spends a lot of time, I want to call the regular season experimentation time, where he can mix up the lineups and stuff like that. He's got great players that play the same style, but he's trying to find out who can connect with whom. And because some games you're going to have to change your lineups, injuries happen. So he's finding out where certain guys fit in and what works and what doesn't. Now, is he quick on the trigger to change lines? Yes.
Oof.
If something's not working out in the first period, it's changed in the second. And if that didn't work out, then it's changed again in the third. Like, it happens a lot, which can be confusing for fans. But as has been stated and is absolutely true, he has got more hockey knowledge and about that team in the tip of his pinky finger than any of us have. And we've been watching hockey for nearly 100 years,
at least,
two of us. I mean, it's like honest. So that's Rod in a nutshell. Actually,
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a long time to figure out why Aho was the fishy.
Oh yes,
I was like, why are we calling him a fish?
Yeah,
that's part of getting to know your team. It's like, why are we calling him fishy?
Yeah.
Why is there some sort of weird pig mascot out there? What's going on? What is that?
That is an ice hog. Man.
What is an ice hog?
But don't ask about his girlfriend, who was around for one season and has never been heard or spoken of.
There should be an investigation, I guess.
I really want us to have an entire episode this offseason dedicated to the story of what was her? I got to look it up. Karen might have been the name. I don't remember now. But I want to. I would love to get somebody from the Canes on record about what happened.
Okay,
that would be amazing. Yeah, the ice hog. I don't. It's funny. Like, I was trying to think. As a team named the Hurricanes, it doesn't leave your. Like, how do you find a mascot for that? You know what I mean? Like, it's easy for the Blue Jackets.
Right.
It's easy for, I don't even know what Gritty's about.
I have, the Dallas Stars, they've got some sort of green kelp thing. I don't know what that is either. So
yeah,
I don't know.
For the Hurricanes, it's tough, but Brad knows. Brad knows about how we got the how we got Stormy,
We got an ice hog.
the ice hog.
The ice hog. Okay.
I'll give you the short version, not
Okay.
the Brad the historian version.
Okay.
North Carolina is one of the biggest hog producers in the country.
Oh, okay.
A couple of those hog farm owners are some of the most wealthy and influential people in North Carolinian politics.
Mm-hmm.
The short version was, without those folks, the hurricanes probably doesn't happen. So it was kind of a nod to them, a little thank you, how do you do? And we get Stormy the Ice Hog, which is we're on Stormy number 2. We had an OG original Stormy, who is my preferred Stormy because I'm an old dude and that's how it is. New Stormy is kind of scary with the big old eyes and stuff.
Yeah.
Original Stormy looked more like an ice hog. Like he had black eyes and he had like a mohawk of hair and he was dope. I loved him.
Got it.
That's the super short version.
All right.
Without the money and influence of North Carolina's hog industry, you don't have Carolina Hurricanes.
Okay, got it. Okay,
Go.
I'm going to dive into your defense because I love Slavin. Never again. Why do I not know anything about this person? Kind of reminds me of our Essa Lindell. He's there. He is guarding that net like it's his home. He's helping that goalie. He's just everywhere he needs to be.
Yeah.
How long has he been there?
Jacob Slavin was drafted by the Hurricanes out of Colorado, or was it Colorado State? I can't recall which college he went to. But he, first of all, a lot of this comes back to playing in Carolina. He was a 4th round pick. Of course, draft day, everyone focuses on your number 1 and your 1st and 2nd round picks, and everyone else is kind of throwaways, flyers that you take a chance on. And in 2012, we made the pick, and he came in, and the first thing that you notice about him was his attention to detail, being in the right place at the right time.
Yes.
He doesn't get the props that he should for the longest time because he's not essentially offensive minded. Although, as you recall, in the All-Star game, he won the accuracy shooting. He has got a great accurate shot, but for him, mostly because of his partner right now, has to really, really focus on the D. And he plays it perfect and he does it clean. That's the one thing. His skating ability, he's got that stick work that he does. He gets into lanes. He's always into good, and he doesn't quit. He's another guy who I watched him. Who did he catch on that partial break? Was it Meyer in game 2?
Yeah, that's where I really saw him, and I was just like, that guy is amazing. Yeah.
And all of America in the 4 nations, everyone looks at D because they think, the Norris Trophy should be, they give it to the defenseman that can score the most goals.
Yeah.
And truth be told, if there was a trophy for the most defensive defenseman, he wouldn't just win it. You should name the trophy the Slavin Trophy. You name it after him. There's not, and with all apologies to you, because I'm telling you, Slavin is the best defensive defenseman in the league.
I will challenge you with Essa Lindell, who is the same kind of workhorse and is not concerned about making goals, but can. But he is back there to defend that goal and that goalie with his life, and that's what he does every night. But I will say that those are the top 2 defensemen in the league. Those 2.
I can respect that. Absolutely.
Those 2. Yeah.
The thing that I always think of with Jacob Slavin is not just how good he is defensively. He has 2 Lady Bings. right? So basically, the NHL version of the sportsmanship, gentlemanly conduct. I think the first year he won that, he had 0 penalty minutes.
0.
Oh, wow.
As a number one defenseman. And the other year he won it, he had 2 because of a dog pug.
Yeah.
So
he threw the puck over the
that
glass.
was his only penalty.
Accidentally.
So,
whoops. Yeah. That's amazing.
Is the opposite of most NHL defensemen who are trying to hit you and take you out and cheap shot you.
Right.
Like Ray said, he plays it the right way. Like he's the top 2-3 defenseman in the league, and he does it without having to take cheap shots. He does it without having to take penalties. His stick work, I can't count the number of times when there's been like a partial breakaway. You're like, oh no, and you're like, oh, that's 7-4. Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. That's fine. I'm not even worried.
It's
the
okay.
goaltender probably won't have to make a save. And half the time, the goaltender's like, oh, no, he poked it away. It's fine. Because his stick work is so good. I mean,
it is. Yeah.
I think of Jacob Slavin, that's how I frame it, is not only is he a great defenseman, but he plays it in a way that you'd like to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would want him on my team 100%. Yeah.
So would everyone now. After 4 nations, everyone realized, and it's finally nice to have a few announcers say, when they talk about Jacob Slavin, what they say is, we're finding out what Hurricane fans knew all along. And it's like, yes, we've been saying that forever and no one listens to us. And now like the Carolina fans understand the game and we know what's good when we see it.
Yeah.
And
let me tell you, y'all's fans are great. I mean, they've talked to me and they've helped me and they've warned us about Brandon, but they've also been really welcoming. They've been welcoming to Stankoven, which I appreciate so much. They're so happy to have him and they appreciate him. They appreciate those of us who are following him and trying to learn about the Canes. And they're really nice.
Every fan base has a few, right? They
all have a few, but you get some that are just mostly toxic.
If you ever get a chance to go to a game in Raleigh, go. Even in Texas, like tailgating is one of those things that I don't know if it's uniquely North Carolinian for hockey, but I'm sure coming from Texas, like you get it with football.
It's everywhere.
But you could show up and you can walk around and just even if you're wearing like a Stars jersey and people will 100% be like, oh hey, come over and get food and let's just talk. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I think there's a really good relationship between the Stars and the Canes, and there has been for a while. But now that we've sort of we're sharing Stank now, and it's a big deal because we love Stank. We love Stank so much.
And I've witnessed it myself. My trip to the Holy Land. I'm atheist, but I call it my trip to the Holy Land to actually see a home game. I was invited there by fans and people that I only ever knew online. And that's how Brad and I actually met. He's in Boston. I'm in Calgary. And it was, we just talk online all the time. And when they found out I got down there, I mean, first of all, the tailgating was just unbelievable. But second of all, I noticed how easy it was as other fans would walk by and they're kind of curious, like maybe they haven't seen this before, like tailgating at a hockey game. That's football. That's not hockey. And someone will notice that they're looking and they'll invite you over and they'll talk the game. Now there's a few fans, like Buffalo that one time in the playoffs, that was terrible. Smashing the glasses all over the place after the game.
If you were a Buffalo jersey, you might not get as warm of a reception.
Dallas Stars are not fond of Buffalo, trust me.
Yeah. Well, I wonder what that's all about.
I wonder why.
Yeah, right? Why? What happened?
Why?
It just and Brad will tell you that was the way it was for the Oilers as well in 2006 when the Oilers came to Raleigh. I mean, Brad, tell the story because I love it. It was
we had Oilers fans come down who had no tickets but wads of cash trying to buy tickets in the parking lot and couldn't. But a bunch of them were walking around and they were like, oh, like we literally brought cases of like Labatt's, like the Canadian high alcohol version.
Okay.
And like, hey, we have beer, and we're like, hey, we have food.
Uh-huh.
And the nicest people. I have my own issues with Edmonton, but as far as their fans go, their
Good
fans could not have been better. I mean, we had a great time hanging out. We had several who joined our tailgate, a couple of different days, like different folks. And they were really impressed and very open-minded about, we came down here, we had heard some things, but didn't really know what to expect. And then they get here and they're like, wow, this is every bit as, a big a deal as we saw or heard on, little 30 seconds on SportsCenter stuff. It was because that's just not what they do up there. I mean, I'm living in Boston now, and I've seen people from up here go down there and they're like, oh my gosh, this is like what we do for a Patriots game times 10. Because, you can't take up you can't really set up grills and stuff in the Patriots parking lot for the most part. Like you kind of go early and maybe have like, I don't know, cold cuts and sandwiches and cold chicken or whatever, but they come down here and people have full-on pig smokers and grills and, buffet style, and people just come over and like, just take what you want. And yeah, it definitely is something unique, I think, about the Hurricanes.
Yeah, I've not been to a game yet, but I'm absolutely planning on coming. I mean, come for Stank, stay for the whole team, because they're amazing.
There you go.
Love that. Love that.
The whole team is amazing.
And do you have any other questions for us?
Chatfield. I noticed. Oh, everybody noticed him with that wonderful wrestling move, the pseudo pile driver, right? That was amazing. Standing up for his team, they were amazing. But I've watched him; he's good. Tell me about this guy. Never heard of him before. Seeing him play, thinking, why? Why do I not know about him?
Brad is the expert.
Brad's the expert. All right,
saying that like that's true or something. So I do try and follow the Chicago Wolves, the AHL affiliate of the Canes, through some tumultuous times here. But my first real experience, my first in-person experience with Chatfield was during the Calder Cup Finals in Springfield 2 years ago. And that team went on to win. I mean, we saw Kochetkov was in net. You had Chatfield, you had Jack Drury, you had Stefan Nazin, you had Podorowski. A bunch of guys left that team and went on to NHL careers. The thing about Chatfield is he's got wheels. He's very good positionally. He's not going to probably score more than 10 points a year. But if you need somebody to get back and cover, he's your guy. I've seen him chase down dudes, and I'm like, oh, there's no way he's catching him.
Oh, yeah, he's flying. He
does, out there. And Marty Natchez won the fastest skater competition a couple of years ago at the All-Star game. I'm not sure he's faster than Chatfield. Because Chatfield straight line speed is absolutely something fun to watch, particularly in person, because he absolutely just gets after it. But solid positional defenseman. He and Orlov were easily the best pair for a good chunk of last year. Orlov's kind of fallen off from this year, and that puts more pressure on Chatfield to cover. But Chatfield, to me, is still, a very solid defenseman. Like he's
fast, but he's also stronger than he looks.
He is.
To me.
And another guy who I think plays the right way. Like, did he body slam?
No, he didn't.
I forgot who it was. Well, I mean, he did, but he
not the way.
Why? He's like, no, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Fine. Like you're throwing punches. Like how do I end the fight? I throw you on the ground, and they're gonna stop.
Well, the dude walked away. There was no permanent injury there. It was fine. Yeah, it didn't. Yeah,
it was much ado about nothing.
It was.
I've said it before,
but it certainly put a spotlight on him. I'll give you that.
Right. If that had been another bigger player, it wouldn't have even gotten anything. So, but yeah, Chatfield, very solid defensive defenseman. He's going to be. His peak is probably as a 3-4 guy in most systems. On a worse team, you could slot him into the top defensive pair. I think he'd be fine. But he's still young, right? He's still learning, still getting better.
Yeah. How long has he been with it?
He won the Calder Cup in 2022, and so he came up last year. Was his first year?
Okay, all right, okay.
Now he was as I recall, he was drafted by Vancouver, and it didn't work out for him over there. And as is the case with a great many players, they don't end up playing for the team that drafted them.
Right.
Especially like unless you're again that first or second, round draft, you don't get and okay. And again, Brad knew this. I did not. He wasn't actually drafted by Vancouver. He
Oh,
wasn't drafted by anyone.
Yeah.
anyway.
But Vancouver
Okay.
did sign him. He did play 2021 for them.
And so he got his start there. It didn't work out. And Carolina picks him up and he shows results in,
Uh-huh.
in the minors. And then he comes up and, like I said, and it was, I don't believe Natchez has played in the All-Star game, although we really pushed for it that one time. Svechnikov won that race on the ice. And even with Natchez on the team, Brad hit the nail on the head. Straight line. He can catch anyone. And that is just that,
Yeah.
again, relief that you have that he's not quite Jacob Slavin, but when you're talking chasing someone down
Yeah.
or whatever, that's what he does. And he does it.
Well.
He does it so well.
Okay. I've got to ask one more question here.
Sure.
We mentioned Slavin, and there was his partner sort of comment. What's going on there?
How much time do you have?
I've got all the time in the world.
Okay.
Well, the game's at 3:30, so I only have till.
Yeah. Okay. Till 3. There you go. Till 3:30.
Go for it, Ray.
Okay.
Tell me what's going on here.
So, Brent Burns.
Yeah.
You've of course seen him play before, and you know how talented he is.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw a lot more of him in the West, of course, all of his time with San Jose. And he was stalwart, actually. He moved from in Minnesota, he started as a forward and they moved him back to defense. And he became stalwart, not only strong defensively, but he was great on offense. He had a booming shot. He was just incredible. And he got included in a very weird was this the trade that was like the future what was the future thing? I can't remember how he came over in the trade. I don't know if or maybe we just signed him. But it was weird when he
was
came
the double
over.
retention trade, as I recall. So we only, they traded us Burns and Lane Peterson for Stevie Lawrence and Itu Makanami in a third, but the Sharks retained money, and I just don't remember how much.
Yeah. And he came to the team and instantaneously helped on the power play, and more importantly, he was the Hurricanes are a back to front offensive. Like it's the defense that get things moving, and it's a full momentum type thing. So they've got guys in the back that can really move the puck and so forth. They get it up to the forwards, let them do their thing and carry it the rest of the way. But they also on the power play, they spend a lot of time moving it to the point and so forth. And Burns guaranteed if he got the puck, if there was a lane, he would put it on the net. And one of the things that Brad and I both said, if a Burns shot gets on the net, it's going in the net. Like that's just the case. Now, he's played a lot of games in a row. He's an Iron Man. And he's also 40. And the issues that we're having now is 2 seasons ago, he was just lighting it up. But we've seen the steady decline of the old man type setting
Mhm.
in for him.
Mhm.
And he's not as quick as he was before. There was never a question about his speed and responsibility on D. The
Mhm.
problem is now he is really having difficulty being in the right place where he needs to for D.
Mhm. Mhm.
Plus, he's getting shots blocked from the point a lot. And when that happens, of course, when you turn over the puck at the blue line, usually that offensive player is off and he can't catch them.
Mhm.
He can't catch them. So that puts extra pressure on Slavin.
Right.
And one of the things that he's good at, I'll say this, is the defense always pinch. If there is an opportunity to pinch down the ice to
Mhm.
keep the forecheck on, that's what they
Mhm.
do. He still does that very well. He
Mhm.
picks his opportunities. However, he just get there was even a point at this time in the season, Brad, where they put him on the power play, but he wasn't at the back, he was in front of the net. Like the idea was that he could be the guy that takes the eyes away from the goaltender
Mhm.
and just be tough and strong and whatever, and that didn't last long. But it feels like we try to be fair
Mhm.
because right now the issue is he has, in our eyes, I wouldn't normally proceed to speak for Brad, but we've both said it. He has nothing left to prove.
Mhm.
The Iron Man, the Iron Man title, really, unless you pay really close attention, the Iron Man, no one knows. No one
Mhm.
cares. It just means you're durable and you lasted a
Mhm.
long time.
Mhm.
And there's been times where we've believed that you would get more out of Burns if you gave him opportunities to rest. And that means taking out of the game.
Mhm.
But Rod is old school and
Right.
has respect for Burns.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
Brad, I know you've got more.
Yeah, I'll keep it short because I feel like I've almost perseverated on this for her a long time. So the short version is, I think it was Bill Peters was the coach, who was a terrible human being and an awful coach.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In Rod's last year, and Rod basically was given a nothing role, and
Mhm.
Rod remembers that. And whenever people are like, "Oh, Rod Francis or Rod Brind'Amour's going to go coach Seattle for Ron Francis," it's not going to happen because Ron Francis was the GM who allowed that to happen. So
Mhm.
anytime I hear Eddie Olczyk telling me what great friends Ron Francis and Rod Brind'Amour are, they're not. So
Okay.
so with that background,
Mhm.
Burns is Rod's biggest blind spot because of the way Rod was treated, in my opinion.
Okay. Right.
Burns, he's played 1,497 games. He has the Iron Man streak going, which doesn't count in the playoffs, which
Right.
means they could take him out and it doesn't affect his streak. He needs 2 more years to pass Phil Kessel. There's
Oh,
zero
Kessel.
chance. There's
Yeah.
just no chance.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the bigger thing is, and look, Brent Burns is a first ballot Hall of Famer. He has a Norris. His first 2 years here were phenomenal. And in this year, it's mostly about two things. One is his speed. He's definitely lost a step.
Yeah.
And his shot has lost a lot of velocity.
Mhm.
So he's not making decisions the way he used to. And I think that's because of the loss of speed. He thinks he can recover and he doesn't have the speed to do it. But we've seen a bunch of times when he's left the shooter to go cover the pass on like a 3-on-2, and
Mhm.
somebody's already covering the pass, and the
Mhm.
puck goes back to the original shooter who's now wide open, pucks in the net. That happened 3 times in the last week of the season. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
the big thing for me with Burnsy, he has nothing left to prove. He has
Nothing.
3 power play points on the season. 84 games is when I looked at it. He has 3 power play points. So why is he running one of the 2 power plays? His shot velocity is what made him a killer because he would get in there, you would get a rebound if it didn't go in, and somebody can scoop it up. Now it's being blocked typically at the defensive level, which, as Ray said, now the puck is in no man's land. If the other team gets it at the blue line, they're going the other way, and Burns doesn't have the speed to catch up. So I have nothing but respect for Brent Burns' career. I have nothing but respect for Rod Brindamore and both his career as a coach and as a player. But there's a blind spot there because Burns is in the lineup, which means Rod thinks he's one of your top 6 defensemen. And that's probably true. But he's also on the top pair, and he's on the power play. He's often on the penalty kill, which means he's one of your top 2 defensemen. And I struggle with that.
Yeah.
Now, he's a lefty, so what's the replacement there is going to be, Orlov? Orlov's been really hit or miss. So the thing with Burns is, for me, it's the blind spot for Rod. I need Rod to take a step back and not look at what happened to him and say what's best for the team. And if he honestly thinks that Burns is it, then, he knows things that we don't know.
Right.
But looking at it from the outside, if he would at least admit, and I know he would never do this, he's not that kind of coach, but he's like, because people have indirectly, nobody's really said, hey, why is Brent Burns playing on the power play with 3 power play points in 84 games? Nobody will just ask him that question.
Well, the fans have been.
The fans have, but the professionals,
a lot,
right? And Joe Ovies is the closest, and he's like, well, we knew what the answer was going to be, so there's no reason to provoke him. But at some point, the question needs to be asked, because if Rod's like, hey, Brent Burns is on power play too because he's still the best option.
Our options are.
I just disagree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see teams in the playoffs right now running 5 forwards. Yeah. You can put 2 defensive-minded forwards out there and 3 offensive-minded forwards and run 5 forwards on your power play. And I promise you, the points percentage from the point will be higher than 3 points in 84 games. It just will be. It's through sheer luck, it should be higher than that, right?
Yeah.
So, love Burnsy. I love Rod Brindamore. This is a sore spot for me because I generally think that for all the good things Rod does, I think this is simply a blind spot that he just can't see or chooses not to see.
And it hurts to say that.
It does.
Honestly,
for both of them. 2 Hall of Fame guys, as far as I'm concerned.
Yes. And again, when you say a player has nothing else to prove about his greatness over time, that is respect. Yeah. And we love him. It hurts to say this. I mean, there's times where Brad and I have cracked on the team where it didn't hurt us at all because we see what we see. But when it comes to Burns, it hurts to say it. It's not. It feels like we're disrespecting him, and that's not the case.
I think you would agree. I would love. Nothing would make me happier than at the end of this playoff run, I got to go. I was wrong, and Rod was right, and Burns came back and showed life, and started putting the puck in the net and started making those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would like nothing more in the world than to need to issue an apology in the season over my thoughts on Brent Burns, which
truth.
I try and stick to this. I haven't said anything on the podcast I wouldn't say to the man's face.
Yeah.
I always try and be respectful and even if I don't think you're playing well, that's the criticism that's part of being a pro athlete. But I haven't said anything about Rod or Burns that I wouldn't say directly to them.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to go, hey, Burns, nice to meet you. By the way, I said a bunch of things on the podcast last year that were, true but negative. And I owe you an apology because you came back in round 3 and, scored, 3 power play points and you did this and you did that. I would love to. That would be better than anything to me. I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a rough position. I feel for Rod, I really do. And I actually respect him more, I think, for this because he is taking this person's legend into consideration. And a lot of coaches wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it means a lot. The fact that he respects him and values him that much means a lot to me. I think that's a wonderful trait to have, even if it is, as you say, a little blind.
Yeah.
But it just shows that he cares for his team, for his people.
This is where Ted Lasso comes in.
And I love this. Yeah. Yeah, I
Brent
see that.
Burns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Brent
If you have an
Burns is
injury,
Roy Kent.
everybody would understand if you got hurt in one of these games and needed to sit out for a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I agree with you that there is something to respect for that, right? Not tarnishing Burns' legacy, not wanting to, because Burns, I think Burns will sign another contract somewhere next year. I don't think it'll be in Carolina, but he would be great back in San Jose teaching the young defensemen how to play.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't want to hurt that.
Yeah.
But I, as a huge Coach Beard fan, if you're going to put one player's feelings over the needs of the team, I can't have a drink with somebody like that, which I don't drink, so it's kind of moot. But, the point is still the point.
We've said it many times as I'm wearing my Roy Kent jersey right now,
Are you?
as a matter of fact. Brent Burns is Roy Kent.
Okay.
He is Roy Kent. And it's tough. I would say he is, if you're looking at future coaches, Brent Burns would be the man. Like, he has so much knowledge, so much. I mean, if
he'd be
you
a great
put him in charge,
he'd be a great assistant coach.
Yes, if you put him
or
in charge
AHL coach, helping the really young guys.
No question at all, because he's got respect for the game, for the team, and going back to Seth to tie this all together. Seth, when he came to the team, was brought in by Burns to stay in his home. Instead of a lot of these young players, they're put up in hotel rooms until they can find a place of their own. Brent brought him into his home. They have the closest relationship probably in the team. And further to that, mentorship. Being a mentor is so important to the young players. You can learn so much from the guys that have been there. And that's who Burns is. I think the other thing that annoys a lot of people is Brent won't tell us what's in that big bag that he's got. I mean, he's got that huge bag that he takes everywhere, and everyone wants to know what's in it, and he's not giving it up.
Like it just maker, man.
I mean, it's huge, but he's quirky. But he's a mentor. He's through and through. To me, he's a Hall of Famer without question, and he's got nothing else to prove. But that's what's the difficult part right now.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, we saw that with Pavs also over in Dallas, bringing the young ones in to stay with him, mentoring them. And you can still see his influence and his mark on some of these younger players. And there's no substitute for it. And it's amazing. People like that are amazing. And I understand why Rod really doesn't. It makes it hard.
I still love the player, if not his play.
Yeah. And the legacy and what he brings. Yeah.
I mean, he's still better than me, although I'm a lot older than him.
Yeah, I mean, goodness, if you want to talk about slow on ice, I think that's me through and through. I hope that ties things. It answers a lot of your questions, and I mean, we would be happy to answer more, but we also have Game 3. Sorry,
that's right.
Game 4.
No, it puts it makes a lot of connections and puts a lot of things into different perspective. Yeah. Thank you.
So Game 4 tonight, this afternoon.
Yeah.
Extra early for me, which is nice, but not necessarily for the team. I have a feeling that this is going to replicate Game 2 very much.
Ooh, okay.
When in Game 1 in Raleigh, like, you have to survive the storm because the fans are nuts. Like they
were,
hear it through the TV on Game 1, and that's tough. Game 2 in Raleigh, the Devils played a strong game, They showed it, despite the fact that they were down to 4 defensemen at one point.
Yeah.
I mean, they played a really strong game, lots of pushback, but the Hurricanes survived. You go into game 3, and the Devils owned the Hurricanes. Like, let's make that perfectly clear. Rod was not happy.
No,
None of the players were happy. And guys like Jackson Blake, another young star, forced his way onto the team.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying something that Brad and I texted to each other during the game. And Brad and I text each other all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're sitting in the same thing, and no one on the team listens to us, and we don't understand why. But Jackson Blake points out, we got to put bodies on the D.
Yeah.
We got to go in there and actually finish a check, and not Shoresy run them through the boards type hits.
Right.
You don't have to go full Shoresy, but put a body on them. Let them know that you're there. And that's something that I can expect now in game 2 in New Jersey, where the Hurricanes do what New Jersey did, and that is force their will on the Devils in this second game. Because, and it's happened in the past, for the Hurricanes especially, where they are just, the problem is they have difficulty winning on the road. And the playoffs proved that a number of times.
That was going to be my question. What kind of a road team are they in the playoffs?
They have struggled mightily in the past, where, and it just, like, for against, let's look at the Rangers. The Rangers series was home series the whole way. The home team was winning until game 7, where the Rangers found a way to get through. And that was it. And really, it's such a terrible cliche, but it's actually true. A series really isn't in danger until you lose one at home. And that's the situation here. The Hurricanes still own, the home ice advantage, and they need to, for the sake of the war of attrition, they need to get a victory today. And the pushback will be very similar to what we saw in game 2 from New Jersey back. Another goaltending duel, Markstrom. I knew he was going to be trouble. He played in Calgary for a long time and was the reason why you could even consider them as a playoff team. And when he went to New Jersey, I thought this is going to be difficult, you know? So, Brad, what would you look at for game 4?
So I would start with a quote after game 3 from Jackson Blake, who said, "It's a 7-game series. One game shouldn't define us as a team." And I think that speaks volumes if you really listen to it. Rod wasn't happy with the performance. I think even as a kid, Jackson Blake not happy with the performance. You let the Devils set the tone and play a style of hockey they don't even like to play, and you don't like to play. And they eked out a win. I kind of said this on our game 3 wrap up. They gave you what's going to be just about as good as they can give. You played 70-80% of your game, and they eked out an OT win. So in game 4, you need to go out there and set the tone. And much to your, the Shoresy comment of, you need to dictate how this is going to go. You need to get bodies on their defensemen, right? Amp up the physicality a little bit. You need to win face-offs.
Yeah.
Especially defensive zone and offensive zone and everywhere face-offs, because the face-offs have not been good enough in general. It'd be nice if Devils killer Jordan Martinook, who has a 1.63 points per game against New Jersey in the playoffs, it'd be nice if he could he could help get some scoring going. Score first. If you score first, you should feel a lot better about this game, because at some point you have to imagine that Jersey power play is going to get something through, because they're over right now. Your power play is starting to come alive a little bit with 2 goals last game. But where you really excel is at 5-on-5. So beat them 5-on-5. The referees for today are Graham Skilleter and Francis Sharon. Looking at their stats, they're pretty evenly matched. They call about 49% of penalties on the home team and about 50 to 51% on the away team. The home team, win record's pretty reasonable considering, but I don't think if we get reasonable reffing, I'm not too worried about that piece. So it really is going to come down to dictating your style of play. It sounds like Anderson's probably going to be a net. No morning skate. It sounds like Rod Brindamore is going to have media availability after 1:00, and we'll know more. I would maybe like to see Jankowski come in. I know a lot of people say for Roslovic, but Roslovic's been playing pretty well. So maybe, if you can bring Jankowski in for somebody who can't really, who doesn't take faceoffs, to give you another, I think, right-handed faceoff guy would be nice.
Yeah, I've been wondering where Jank is. Where is Jank? He's not hurt, right? I mean,
no, he's
what's going on?
He's the healthy.
He was so hot. Now. He was so hot, and you took him out, and I don't understand that.
I think what Rod is looking at is Roslovic working with Robinson and Carrier together. Roslovic has a lot of offensive potential, and he has not
stood out to me. I must be missing something there.
Well, you're not. I mean,
the keyword is potential.
that is it. And I go back to Natchez. The idea of playing with Robinson and Carrier is that they are bulldogs that chase the puck relentlessly and can hustle and create open space. And we saw Roslovic at the start of the season do some amazing things. I mean, all he did was score, and he's cooled off. And the idea was to have a little bit of offense threat throughout the lineup so that you can't key in on just one player or one line. Now, Jankowski has been great. He has scored tons, but he's not as fast as Roslovic. I'll say that. He's not as quick. And the speed that Robinson has, along with Carrier's determination and grit. I mean, we saw that one goal, the first goal of the playoffs. Roslovic wins the faceoff. Okay. The puck goes over to Robinson, who kicks it back to Chatfield, and Carrier goes straight to the front of the net. And Chats throws the puck on net.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So it's those things that you want to catch lightning in a bottle. Now, Brad and I both were of the same mind for Game 3 in New Jersey, knowing that New Jersey was going to come with everything. You want a bigger guy, and Roslovic was the guy that needed to come out for Jank, and you would be able to match that physicality and so forth. That would work. Is that going to change? We'll have to wait and see. He's kept all the other lines the same. I would like to see Jank in this particular game, especially with the physicality, because he likes to check hard too. Like he'll throw the body on guys.
If you're going to outrun New Jersey, which you can, then stay with Roslovic. And it doesn't have to be Roslovic versus Jankowski, right? But I'm just, generally speaking.
Yeah.
But Jankowski's listed at 6'4", 212, and he's more like 6'4", like 218 or 220.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play an up-tempo game, then you're probably leave the lineup where it is and you try and outrun New Jersey and you just wear them out, which you can do. If you're going to let it become a slog and you're going to let them slow the game down, and become a more physical game, I think you need to put in Jankowski because you need that extra size. I mean, 25 pounds doesn't sound like a lot, but
at
25 pounds of
velocity,
muscle is 25 pounds of muscle.
at velocity, yeah, those 25 pounds can be a lot. And one thing to watch for, and it's something that the Devils have been doing all along, is they know about the forecheck of the Canes, as everyone does. And the second the puck gets in on Markstrom, if he can move it, he will. He doesn't do a lot of freezing the puck because the Canes, even though they haven't been fantastic on the faceoffs, you don't want to give them a chance to win a draw in your end and then start just working you over. You got to get that puck out quick, and that's what the Devils did really well. You look at all of the goals that they scored. The passes were crisp, tape to tape, but they were long ones too, and really stretched out the D, and that gives you the opportunity to get in on net, get some good shots, and that's the key to beating the Hurricanes. And I hate to throw it out there now because I don't want anyone listening to it against us, but the high risk of playing man to man and all of that pressure is high reward, but man, can it hurt you if someone loses their guy or whatever. And in almost every case in the goals against, that's exactly what happens. Someone loses their guy in the mix, in the fray, and if you lose your guy or you get beat to the puck on the forecheck, like a guy pinching or whatever, now you've got a forward playing defense, which not every forward can do. So that's the key to this one is watch New Jersey, how quickly they try to get the puck out of their end to just prevent any sort of forecheck time where they can get worn down, and watch the goaltending. I mean, it's been sensational on both ends. And if you like goaltending, this is the series to watch.
It's like when we used to watch Belfour and Waugh. That was the was the goaltending showdown of the year. Yeah.
So
this is similar. Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Right.
Speaking of goaltenders, non-Canes news, total non sequitur. Thompson, is at practice today.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. That's what's being reported, is that he was at practice today.
Oh my goodness! I don't know.
That's huge news
if
for
you
them.
Saw it. Strome annihilated his own goaltender.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I did not think that Thompson was going to survive it. First of all, he took the stick right to the chin, but his knees and legs got twisted up so much, my legs hurt watching it. It was awful.
That was crazy. Yeah.
I did not think he was coming back. And if he's at practice, he's got to be Gumby. I mean, there's really no other explanation for that, because you can't twist knees like that unless you've got like plastic in them or elastic. Like, that was unbelievable.
It was.
Yeah, it sounds
that's good news. It's good news, though.
Yeah, it sounds like both he and Lindgren both left the ice around the same time, so there's no projection on who's going to start game 4 for them, but he confirmed Rush Machine had it that he was at practice today.
Okay.
Wow. So there you go. I don't know what the situation is with Montembeault, but I don't much care about the team that shall not be named. So yeah. We'll see how
Caps
that
to
goes.
7. Just grind the Caps down for us.
Yeah, thank you very much. We'll take care of the Devils nice and quick.
Right.
And get some much needed rest and be nice and spry and ready to go against whoever comes out of that other play. Tracy.
Yeah.
Been a fantastic guest.
Thank you.
Tons of fun. It's fun to do the normal thing for us.
Yes, I mean, this is the thing. It's all about the fans. And you know what? If someone were to crack on me and Brad about talking to a fan who still cheers for another team and is not Caniac and entirely, they'll have to speak with us in person. And you can't tell by this, but we're both pretty big guys. So look, Tracy, it's so fun having you along. And if we ever have the opportunity to talk hockey again, the door is always open to the Storm Cellar. If you ever want the opportunity to come back and talk hockey with us, I can speak for Brad on this one as well. We'd love to have you back.
Fabulous. I would love to be back sometime, especially if we win the cup. Either of my teams. You know what? I'm at this point. I want to see the Stars and the Canes, and I will be happy no matter who wins.
I was going to ask you to define we.
I always say we in relation to the Stars, but I have noticed I also say it in relation to the Canes now.
There you go.
So
there you go. I like to hear that as well.
Transition almost complete.
Other non sequitur.
I have two teams.
I also have two teams. Congrats to Crystal Palace for the
did they win?
They laid on Aston Villa yesterday. They are going back to the FA Cup finals. This is all European soccer, Tracy, by the way.
Okay.
So huge shout out to Glasner and all of Crystal Palace. Those boys played hard yesterday and really just took it to them. So FA Cup final, May 16th. They have never in they're one of the oldest soccer teams in England, 120 something years now. They have never won a major trophy.
Okay.
They have a legit shot at it this year. I'm very excited for them.
And Brad, did you, maybe you said this, Tracy loves Ted Lasso as well.
Oh, yeah.
AFC Richmond based on Crystal Palace?
It is. So AFC Richmond is based upon Crystal Palace. They use Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace's stadium, the lockers, the colors, the red and blue, the whole shebang bang. Crystal Palace is a mid-tier, so they're kind of middle out of 20 teams. They normally end up around 10th to 14th. It's a small they're like the Hurricanes, right? They're kind of a small market club, right? They're not an Arsenal. They're not Man City. They're not Man United. They're most of their supporters are, either from Croydon, which is part of London that they're in, or they're international folks like me. They work really hard. They don't have the biggest paycheck, but they're a team and they work as a team. And that's really what I like about it.
And that's what I love too, is a team.
And so
not just one guy out there hot dogging it, or everybody pass to this guy so he can, stack the goals. I hate that. I love people who are helping each other, working, grinding, being a team.
They're the team right now that's finding guys in lower leagues and bringing them up on short money. And by short money, I mean $5 or $6 million.
Right.
and then getting those guys playing at a level where they're then selling them to the bigger clubs for $30 million. I mean, that's unfortunately they're kind of a road stop along the way for some of these guys. But the way that they play together has been outstanding.
Yeah.
I started with them 4 or 5 years ago and I really got into it, and I can't help myself. They remind me so much of the Hurricanes that I really appreciate. And they really have had a phenomenal in the FA Cup tournament. For the few people who do watch soccer, they've only allowed one goal the entire tournament.
Amazing.
Wow.
So defense as well, defense and goaltending.
Defensive minded. Henderson, goaltender's been amazing.
Henderson,
Lacroix, Mitchell, playing their hearts out. On offense, you have Eze and Mateta and Wharton and all I could go on and on, but I just wanted to bring up huge win yesterday for the boys.
Love that for you. It's always good to have good news, no matter what sport you're cheering for. Tracy, thank you again.
Thank you.
There's we've talked about so much, and we've done non sequitur and a little bit of everything. There's only one thing left to do, though, Brad.
Yes.
Go Canes.
Go Canes.
Go Canes. Let's do it.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. Ray and I greatly appreciate your support in helping us produce an informative and fun podcast. As always, we'd like to say that we believe hockey is for everyone. Whether you're a Caniac or a bunch of jerks, doesn't matter, as we're just a couple of jerks anyway. We would love to hear your questions, comments, and suggestions. We will do our best to answer anything hockey related. You can reach us by email at stormcellar97@gmail.com. On Twitter, we are at stormcellar97, and on Facebook at facebook.com/stormcellar97.